For this first problem, we're going to be writing a program that checks Sudoku grids to make sure that they are valid Sudoku grids. And if you haven't played Sudoku before, we'll go over it briefly, or you can go check the Wikipedia page, which probably has a far more in-depth explanation than we could ever give here. So, Sudoku is a game played on a 9x9 grid, which we'll be representing as a list of lists that contains 81 elements. And each one of these 81 elements has to be a number between 0 and 9, including 0 and 9. And if either of these doesn't hold, then we'll be returning none right away before we do anything else. And if we do pass those sanity checks, then we're going to return true if all of these hold, which are the basic checks that go on in a Sudoku game. Each number, 1 through 9, occurs only once in each row. It also occurs only once in each column, and in each 3x3 subgrid on the box, on the board, I mean. And it also occurs only once in each 3x3 subgrid in the overall grid. And that might be clearer with a bit of a picture. So here you can see all 9 3x3 subgrids. And each of these should only have the number 1 through 9 once for each subgrid. Now, you can have 0 in a valid subgrid. That means that it hasn't been encoded yet. We don't have any solution, for instance, that has those numbers in it. So your program will have to account for that. Now, I'll give you a few examples of what we expect. First, if we get an ill-formed board where you see that this row doesn't have 9 elements, it only has 8, we should return none immediately. This is a valid board with no zeros, and it should return true. This is an invalid board that should return false because it has the elements 1 through 9 either in a more than once in a row, a column, or a 3x3 subgrid. So I'll leave you to check that is indeed the case for this one. Then we have 2 that aren't finished. One that's a fairly easy Sudoku puzzle if you're going to solve it by hand, and one that is actually quite difficult to solve by hand, at least for me. And both of these should return true. You can solve both of these and with valid Sudoku answers. And you're going to write this in the check Sudoku function, and we give you these print statements to check them. Now, these are the only test cases we're going to be testing against for this problem set. That's not really the point of this assignment, though. What I'd like you to do is go to the forums and post the code that you used to solve this in the forums, and we'll have a link to a specific forum post in the instructor comments down below the video, so please check that. And I'd also like you to look at other people's code and see if you can think of some fuzzers that would break these people's code, either a specific instance of someone's code, or if you have a general purpose fuzzer that would run well against general Sudoku checkers, then go ahead and post that in the forums. I'd really like you to think about what kind of inputs and what kind of testing you would have to do in order to do this well. So I hope you have fun with this. I hope there's a lot of great discussion on the forum about it. And I look forward to seeing all of your solutions. Okay, great. Have fun.